All right, well, no matter your personal interest in fantasy sports, you have undoubtedly been subject to the blitz of advertising from FanDuel and DraftKings. But as of last week, the two giants of daily fantasy leagues are no longer operational in New York. But will these gambling sites return, or are they gone for good? Joining me to discuss is famed trial lawyer and co-founder of Sports Court Media, Kenney, Baden, joining us in studio. Good friend, Linda. Thank you so much for coming in and talking with us about this. FanDuel, DraftKings, boy, they had to know this was coming. I mean, you can't spend $150 million in advertising and not expect legal action.
Of course they have reserves prepared for legal action because it blossomed so big. You know, back in 2006 when Congress said that they exempted sports fantasy betting from this act, which about illegal gambling on the internet, I don't think anyone thought it was going to blossom like it did, but it did. It's huge. It's huge. Sometimes some people think it's going to be bigger than regular betting in the future. That
it's going to be bigger than just sports betting in general, more or less.
In the next century.
Yeah, and that's what they're banking on, too.
Right. I mean, the amount of money being made here, and you hear stories, of course, about people making $3 million on hits here. I don't know if it's all true, because when we reread, a lot of people also lose money.
All right, well, so here's the thing. Right now, they're kind of putting a pause on the legal action right now in the hopes of what they're expecting in September, or maybe even earlier than September, a bill being passed. And the bill is Bill 6793, and it would legalize this fantasy league sports gambling.
That's right.
But there would be some stipulations.
A lot.
$500,000 licensing fee is the first one. Right. There's also a 15% tax paid by the leagues. This is a law that's going to be passed in the next couple of weeks. Does this sound like the state is basically saying, we're going to make this illegal unless you give us some money?
Well,
does this kind of feel like a shakedown?
The state has already claimed that it is illegal.
Right,
but we'll make it legal and guess you live in money. But look, you're talking about the legal system. Every litigation, people say, is a legal shakedown, right? Sue me, pay me this, or in the lawsuit. Here, the Attorney General is saying, I want to protect my consumers. Now, the leagues are saying, the fantasy sports leagues are saying, hey, they're our customers. They don't need protection. But the Attorney General said, I got into this to protect you, and therefore I do want to protect you with this litigation, and therefore, you know, we're going to have some regulation here, and it's caused this to happen.
Well, I mean, they do need protection. I mean, 90% of these players out there, it's been revealed, are actually losing money on this as well. So the state wants to make sure that they get their money, but will they be able to protect the consumers against these big firms that are using algorithms and thousands of entries to basically rule the pot?
Well, remember, this all got started because there was a rumor, and it really wasn't a rumor, it was an allegation that there was some insider trading that people inside these leagues were betting because they knew how to win money. And therefore, the Attorney General of the state of New York and other states woke up and said, hey, wait a second, people are getting, you know, defrauded here. And really, these litigation acts were brought under the consumer protection laws more than anything else. That's what incited all this.
Yeah, so I mean, it's almost like buyer beware if you're going to be playing in these fantasy leagues, knowing full well that you're going to be on the wrong side of things.
Yeah, but you know, people love the fantasy leagues. I mean, they love
the chance to win $1 million.
Look, people bet, right? Yeah. So we all know that betting is important, or else we wouldn't have these brick and mortar casinos out there. So it's just a different type of betting. Now, the people in the fantasy league say it's by using your statistics and how good you are in betting. It's not really chance, and that's where the two sides disagree.
The $500,000 fee.
Huge fee.
Yeah. Does that concern you at all, if you're a small business owner?
Yeah, here's the problem. It says that if you pay, what this legislation said, and it looks like it's going to go through, if you pay the $500,000, you can, and you were doing business before November 10th of last year, you can continue to do business, which means that FanDuel, which is located in New York, and DraftKings can immediately come in and take over the market, as they had been before. But if you're a small mom and pop, it's hard to get into this. But you know, FanDuel and DraftKings, they don't care. They don't care because they're in. Let somebody else bring the litigation. Let one of the smaller people who want to establish one of these sites bring the litigation. So whether or not that'll be successful in the future, I don't know.
Now, they're targeting September, but does it seem like this is something that could happen within the next month or so as well?
I think it's going to happen earlier than September. I think it's going to happen during the budget time. What happened here is that the lawsuit got stayed, or part of the lawsuit that the Attorney General brought seeking restitution damages, and part of it is allowed to go forward. That's the part on consumer fraud. So I think it's going to happen before September, and I think it has to happen before before the budget bill. Whether the regulations will happen before September, that's a different story.
There's another element to this as well, and that is the sponsorship deals that FanDuel and DraftKings has. They have with almost every New York team, from the Knicks to the Jets to the Giants. They have deals with these teams. They have deals with the leagues as well. Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, has come out in favor of sports gambling too. Does it feel like there could be some hypocrisy, because gambling and sports doesn't seem to mix, usually, not with the leagues at least?
In some of these cases, they call it marketing deals, not sponsorship. I don't know if there's a distinction with a difference, without a difference. You know, in any event, everybody knows, everyone, that sports events people gamble on. So to say, hey, you know, you're against gambling in sports, that's the hypocrisy, because everyone knows that happens.
Yeah, there are 6 states right now that have made it illegal to use these sites. There are 30 states that are creating some sort of a legislation. If this bill does pass here in New York, is it really going to be the benchmark bill that the nation will be able to use?
Well, it's the one that DraftKings and FanDuel and other fantasy sports leagues want them to use, because this bill allows 18-year-olds to gamble. For instance, Massachusetts just started pushing forward regulations that won't let you do it unless you're 21. And also, you'd have limitations of what you can put in to your account. So this bill is actually very user-friendly to the sports leagues. So we know this is going to happen across the country in most states. I mean, to say that it's not going to be gambling, it's the fluke. It's the fluke's sake that says it's not gambling. So this bill is the one they're going to be pushing once it goes through in New York.
FanDuel, DraftKings, they're okay with the 15% tax on top of this.
Because you know what's going to happen? Who's going to pay that? The customers, as they call them, the participants, as they call them, or as the Attorney General call them, the consumers.
Attorney General Eric Schneiderman has been working this since, well, they started the probe back in October. In November, they issued a cease and desist order. There have been plenty of action that has happened in the meantime. But here we are at this point now. I'm kind of wondering, who blinked? Was it the FanDuel side or was it the state side?
Well, it's interesting. It depends how you define the word state. If you define it as the Attorney General, you define it as the legislatures are bringing this bill forward here. Because really, it has to be New York who blinked. Because New York says, hey, let's stop this. Let's start making some money here, that money we're not making. But believe it or not, you know, in any litigation, in any type of situation, also FanDuel and DraftKings has to say, hey, this may be a pretty good deal for us, because you know that Fair Employment for Lawyers Act, all these fees that they're paying their lawyers right now, they won't be paying those fees. That's going to go towards the $500,000. It's going to make me cry.
Oh, it should. It would make every lawyer cry, wouldn't it? All right, so if and when New York does make sports gambling legal, when they add this on top of it as well, does it seem like it could be, these fantasy leagues could be in direct competition with sports gambling, and the state is going to be on the other side of it. In 10 years from now, if this bill does pass, could they come back and say, we actually want more money?
Sure, because this bill is only good for 10 years. And you know what's going to happen? This bill is also going to affect the brick-and-mortar casinos. And that was the whole issue about whether or not Las Vegas would allow any type of fantasy sports betting, because they want to protect their casinos. And we have casinos in New York.
Sure.
So, but the problem is that the state's going to get the money one way or another. They'll either get it from the fantasy sites, or they're going to get it from the brick-and-mortar casinos. They're going to get their money. The question is, who's going to fall down into the well while the state gets the money?
Well, you can check out all of our thoughts on legal sports topics on sportscourtmedia.com. Linda, Kenney, Baden, thank you so much for joining us. Very much appreciated.
Thank you.
All right.